Hi, my name is Steph. I am an artist and an arts facilitator, which means that I work with children and community groups on all sorts of fun and creative projects, from sort of outdoor community parks to teaching in the classroom. I also help run Studio Meraki. We are the arts organisation that have brought you this art kit project. So, last week you were working on bugs with Kerry, and already we've had some amazing photographs of the things that you guys have been up to. Some really beautiful bugs, butterflies and amazing stripy insects. So I really can't wait for the weeks to unfold and see what else you've been up to. This week we're going to be looking at mask making and all sorts of props and things that you can use around the house in sort of dress up and playtime. So here's a few examples that I made. So here's a mask with a lovely silly nose, a giant eye. Could chase people around the house with a giant eye. And some, should probably take off my glasses to wear these glasses, some giant novelty glasses. So those are just a few ideas. Let's look at what will be in your kit. Okay, so this is what should be in your art kit this week. Some neon paper, some sugar paper, some bright sticky vinyl, a couple of stripy paper straws, a couple of kebab sticks, some bright fluffy pipe cleaners, and some recycled stiff cardboard. The other things that you'll need this week should have arrived in your art kit last week, and these things we'll keep going back to week after week, so keep them really safe so that as and when you need to use them, you know where they are. Pop them back in your art kit every time you've sort of finished one of these activities, and then you just know where they are, you know they're safe, and we can keep using them. So that will be your rubber, your scissors, your pencils, your glue stick and your sellotape. And for those of you following at home that haven't received an art kit, there are lots of alternatives that you can use for these materials. So for example, for the coloured paper, maybe you have a stash of old magazines at home. You could cut out some of the pages that are really lovely and bright and glossy. For the sticks or for the straws, you maybe have some plastic straws knocking about, or maybe some disposable chopsticks in the back of the drawer, or maybe even some twigs from your walks outside that might have fallen on the floor, or gather a few from the trees. For the pipe cleaners, you could use wool wrapped around wire, or just wool on its own is always quite nice. And for the cardboard, have a rummage through your recycling box. You've probably got a fair few maybe cereal boxes, or some deliveries might have come in that might have come in this nice thick cardboard. So have a look in there, see what else you can find. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to run through how to make a mask with you. So taking your largest piece of cardboard and your pencil, we're going to draw the outline of the shape of your mask first. So have a little think. You might want that to be a circle. You might want it to be that big eyeball shape. You might want it to be the kind of curved half circle shape. It could be a star. It could be like a wiggly, frilly line. It's totally up to you. This time I'm going to do a big semicircle one. And you can see that as I'm drawing, I'm making sure that my drawn line is kind of going quite close to the edges, so that I'm making the most of my cardboard. And then I'm drawing a line around here, whoop, as straight as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then this bit can be used for other parts, so you're kind of making the most of your cardboard. So now that you have that rough shape, you can cut it out. So take your scissors and cut the straight line first. So keeping your scissors nice and straight, having your thumb in this hole and one of your fingers in the other. You can probably fit two in, but my fingers are too large. And keeping your fingers well out of the way of the blades of the scissors. And you'll just work along, making nice snips, pushing down on the blades and pulling them back apart, pushing down, pulling them back apart, pushing down, pulling back apart, all the way along. If you're really struggling with this, get somebody, maybe a parent or somebody else in your household to give you a hand. But the more you try it. The more you practice, the easier it will become. So going around this way, you can see that the blades of my scissors are actually sort of staying in a fairly similar direction, and I'm actually moving the cardboard more than I'm moving the scissors. Can you see how I'm rotating it around as I cut? And there we go. There is the base for our mask. You can see I haven't perfectly stuck to the line, but I'm happy enough with that shape. So I'm going to pop that to one side for a minute and take this other piece of cardboard that we cut off, and now I'm going to have a little think about what shape I want the nose to be. So I think this time I'm going to go for a really big triangular nose like this. Maybe I want some silly nostrils in it like this, and then I'm going to cut that out. So I think the sillier nose, the better for this. You can get creative and do whatever shaped nose you want. You could do like a really big bulbous one, a really round one. You could do a really long, thin one. You could even think about sort of sticking on a toilet roll or something and making a sticking out one. Totally up to you. Cut along the bottom first of this. And then to cut out the nostrils, which is probably a little bit harder, again, you're turning the cardboard as you cut, like that, to get a nice sort of round, smooth cut. So you can see as my blades are squishing together, I'm turning the cardboard. Oh, and actually, might have to go in from the other side there to help me get around that bend, like that. And then you have one big nose. Have it here, or we could have it here. Let's see as the different features of the mask come along. So that's probably big enough for one eye, so I'm going to use that piece to draw a nice sort of lemon shape for my eye. So one big curve, and then another around like that. Again, using as much of the cardboard as I can, filling that shape within that cardboard space. So cutting that out, like so. And then to get an identical eye shape, what you can do is take another piece of cardboard, lay it down on top of it and trace around it. And that will mean that you get two of the same shapes. You don't have to do that, they can be different, but that's a nice trick for you. And then cutting it out again. So hopefully, after last week and a bit of practice with scissors making those bugs, this might feel a little bit easier. So there we go. Get our mask back in, and then we have our two eyes sort of taking shape. So that's looking quite silly to me. And then this is where the fun part starts. We can start adding colours and sort of thinking about the arrangement a bit more. So what colour should my mask be on the back? I think I might go for a yellow. Let's see. So your pieces of paper are not quite big enough to cover this, so there's a few different things you could do. You could either do half and half, so you could choose one of one colour and one of the other. So yellow and purple always look pretty fun together. They're opposites on the colour wheel. If any of you have come across the colour wheel at school, it's literally a wheel of colour, and it tells you about the primary colours and the secondary colours. And when the opposite colours on the colour wheel are next to each other, they really pop, which is why this looks so pleasing. So I think I'm going to use those two. So what we'll do is we'll turn our mask over. Nope, we won't do that. We're going to put our paper under the mask and we're going to draw. We're going to line up that paper roughly down half of it. Draw around with our pencil like that. Pull it out and then you've got that line drawn on. So you can go around it with your scissors. And there's half, although that might not be perfectly half, but it doesn't really matter. And then we can do the same with the yellow. So popping it under your cardboard, lining it up like so, and then drawing around it with your pencil. There we go. And then cutting it out. So then you should have half and half of your colours covering the cardboard background. So we can stick that on. Take our glue stick. You can rub all over the surface of your cardboard with your glue stick, right up to the edges. Try not to roll your glue stick out too much, because what you'll find is if you roll it out loads and you squish all over it, it tends to sort of mash it up and you get big lumps. So just roll it out a little bit at a time and then you'll just get a nice smooth covering of glue. Like that. Stick on one side and then stick on the other side, like that. All right, might need a little bit extra there and there. And now we can start thinking about what colour we'd like our nose to be. Maybe. What about pink? Maybe not. Maybe the luminous colours are pretty good. What about this one or this one? Ooh, I'm quite enjoying that orange. That's quite exciting. So have a really good play around with these colours. In my opinion, there's never too much. So trace around it again, drawing on the back of your paper like this. Cutting around it with your scissors. Go quite carefully in those little nostril areas. Again, rotating my paper around to help me cut a bit smoother. Going along and around. And then covering the nose cardboard with the glue stick again and carefully sticking it on. Rubbing over it with your hand to make sure it's all nice and stuck down, and there we go. There's a nice big silly nose. So I think we can start. Well, we need to cover these first, don't we? So let's cover the eyes. I think we've got some white vinyl. Might not be quite big enough. So what I will do is I might cut these eyes down a little bit. So if you're finding like things in your kit you don't quite have enough of, or you are sharing them with siblings or other people in your household, just try cutting things down, make them a little bit smaller, or cutting things in two, and they'll go a lot further. And then more people can get involved. Let's see, does that fit? Not quite, keep going. One last little trim. See, what I should have done is probably check the size of the vinyl before I cut out my eyes, but I got too excited. So here we go. This is what we're doing. And obviously your eyes don't have to be white, they can be any colour. They could be bright green. But I quite like doing white eyes because then you can put a nice dark pupil on them. That dark circle in the middle of your eye. So this is sticky back vinyl. So you came across this last week probably. Just to run over how it works. It's sticky back plastic, so you need to peel this layer off to be able to use it. So what I will do is peel off the whole sheet and stick it over the eye. If it was a massive sheet, I'd cut a little bit off just to be able to cover the area that we want, so we're not using it all at one go. And then cut it out. Ooh. Trim it into the cardboard. And there we go, there's one. And then the other one. Just about fits. So a little trick for this is if you fold over the corner of your vinyl, if you're finding it difficult to peel the backing away, fold a tiny little corner like this, and then you'll see that the vinyl comes away a lot easier from the backing. And you can just peel it off really easily. So then stick it down nicely again and then go around it with your scissors. Yep, getting a bit sticky. So start moving things to one side. All right, so then you've got your two eyes, your nose, and we can stick them onto our background. So turn the nose over, squidge all the way over it with your glue stick, glue it down. You can have it down here if you want to, it can be sort of coming off your mask. I think I'm going to stick this one in the middle like that. And then turn over your eyes, glue the back of your eyes. And put one on there. And one around there. There we go. So now we can get to the fun part of sort of decorating and adding more features to your mask. So for this one, I think I want to do something with the cheeks. I definitely want to give it hair. Might make some pupils out of this. And maybe give it some sort of eyebrows. Let's have a look. So what will I do first? So you can see that I'm sort of choosing different colours and laying them against the mask to see what looks best. I think some pink cheeks might look quite cool. So there are two pieces of vinyl, so I might use both of them, drawing a circle on the back. It doesn't have to be perfect, like that. Cutting it around with my scissors. You can see I haven't perfectly followed my line, but it's near enough a circle. If you really struggle drawing circles, you might be able to find something in the house to draw around, a jar or the bottom of a cup or something else. So, oh, that might actually be a bit too big. There we go. Popping that one on. Ooh, if that happens to you, just before you stick it down any further, just try and peel a little bit back up again. Oh, and you can just flatten it out like that. There we go. And the other one, we can take this piece that we cut out and draw around it, checking that it fits, and then we can stick it down once you've cut it out. And there's the other cheek, lovely rosy cheeks. And then I might do the pupils. So for this one, I'll show you an example of drawing around something circular. So I'm going to take my glue stick, turn it on its head and draw around it. And I'm going to do that twice. There's one. And there's the other. See those? And as soon as you put a pupil in the middle of the eyes, it suddenly sort of comes to life, I think. So peel the backing off. Remember, do a little fold. Peel away the backing. Oh, so it is a little bit fiddly, but again, the more you practice, the easier it will become. So maybe they could sort of be further towards the middle of the eye. Middle of the mask, I mean. And then cutting out your second one. Peeling off the backing and sticking it down. There we go. It's definitely starting to get some character. Woohoo! All right, and then I think definitely in need of some hair. So I'm going to take the green for this because I think we need some green going on because we've got lots of sort of warm yellows and pinks and oranges. So for this, what's quite fun is if you cut a strip of paper from one of the sheets and then you snip lots and lots of times down the length of your paper, making sure that you're not cutting all the way to the edge of your paper like this, and this can create some really fun hair. So I'm sort of chopping, I don't know, maybe ½ centimetre apart each time to make the strands of hair. Right down to the last one, and then we go. Oh, it moves quite nicely, doesn't it? Look at that. Cool. And then we can stick it on for the hair. So what we'll do is we'll turn the mask over, place the hair at the back, and I think this time I'm going to use the sellotape. So find the end of the sellotape. It's always a challenge, and measure out how much you need, and then we can chop it with our scissors like that and stick it on. There we go. Just wrap that little bit around. If you have an extra bit hanging over the end, you can just sort of wrap it around the side, doesn't matter too much. And then your mask has some pretty cool hair. If you want to sort of ruffle it up a bit, just gently take your finger and run it over the top, and you'll see that that kind of creates a slightly more scruffly look, and makes it all stick out at funny angles, which looks a little bit more like hair. So I think this mask is beginning to develop some pretty strong character. Looks pretty silly. So what would be really good now is if you were able to see through the eyes, so that you can actually wear this and start playing with it and sort of doing dress up and silly games or superhero competitions around the house. So a really good trick to make eyes through your cardboard, a really sort of safe and simple way, is to take your rubber, put it behind your mask and sort of line it up with your eye. Take your pencil and push with one hand here and one hand here right down through the cardboard into your rubber, and you can see you will have made a little hole, but that's okay, the rubber still works. And then taking your pencil, making sure your fingers are nice and out of the way, you can just kind of squish around like this, and now you've got one hole. And then we could do the other one. Line it up, squish your pencil right through it, keeping your fingers out of the way, and then taking off the rubber, and then again just sort of widening out that hole like that. And then you'll be able to start, you can see the light through it now, you'll be able to actually see through your mask. The last thing we need to do, turn it over and add either a straw or a kebab stick. It's up to you. Let's have a look which one works best. I'm quite enjoying this pink one. What about the green one? Oh, don't know, that's a close call. Maybe the green. Maybe the green wins. So turn it over, lay it on the back, take your tape, get a length, snip it with your scissors. I might actually snip that one in two, and then we've got two bits to take our straw on with. One here and one here, and then you've got something to hold on to as you're holding the mask up to your face like that. Great, okay, so there we have it, one mask. So if you wanted to have a go at any of the other things that we've sort of recommended that you could make, the glasses or the big eye, they are all a sort of similar process. You always start with the cardboard background and then you layer up the different kind of collage bits and the different features. If you want to have a go at making the glasses with the arms that hook over your ears, check out our Instagram page later this week, where we'll be showing a quick skill video of how you'll be able to do that. Alright, have fun guys, I can't wait to see what you get up to, and don't forget to post to our Facebook page where we've got an online gallery and you can share all of the amazing things that you've been up to.